Today, we are covering sample methods for AP statistics, and I'm going to explain all five types clearly with real examples for each one. Now, before we get into it, think about this. Every election poll, every survey, every study you have ever read about, none of them asked every single person. There are 330 million people in the United States, and nobody called all of them. So, how do researchers get results that are actually meaningful? Well, the answer is that they are very deliberate about how they choose who to ask. And that method, the sampling method, changes everything about whether the results are trustworthy or useless. By the end of this video, you will know all five methods, how to identify them on the AP exam, and stick around for the end. I will show you the four types of bias that appear on almost every AP statistics free response question. That part alone is worth staying for. Okay, so here are two words you need to know about cold. The population. It's the entire group you want to study, every person or object of interest. If you're studying AP Stats students in the US, that's the population, every AP Stats students in the country. Now, the sample is a subset you actually collect data from, a smaller, carefully chosen group meant to represent the whole. Now, why not just study the whole population? Well, sometimes you can if the group is small, but if your population is all registered voters, or all products off an assembly line, studying every single one is impossible. A well chosen sample gives you reliable information at the fraction of the cost. The key phrase, well chosen. How you select the sample determines everything. So here's method one, the simple random sample or SRS. This is the golden standard of sampling. The definition, every individual has an equal chance of being selected, and every group of the same size also has an equal chance. Think of it like a lottery, every name in a hat. Nobody has an advantage. In practice, assign every person a number. Use a random number generator or an RNG, and whoever comes up is your sample. A school has 800 students, and you assign numbers 1 through 800, and randomly select 50. Those 50 students selected are your sample. Clear, fair, and no bias built in. Another method is a stratified random sample. The idea is that sometimes the population has distinct subgroups you care about. With pure SRS, you might accidentally end up with mostly seniors and no freshmen. Stratified sampling fixes this. Divide the population into groups called strata based on a shared characteristic, in this case, grade level. Then take a separate random sample for each stratum. Each group is guaranteed to be represented. The AP exam giveaway, population divided into groups first, then sampling happens within each group separately. A next method is the cluster sample. This one is frequently confused with stratified, so pay close attention. Divide the population into groups called clusters. Randomly select some of those clusters, then survey every single person in those selected clusters. For example, a school with 30 classrooms. You randomly select 6 rooms. You survey each student in those 6 rooms. Not a sample from within, but everyone. The critical difference from stratified is stratified samples are from every group. Clusters select some groups and survey everyone in them. The AP exam will test this distinction directly. So just remember, stratified, all groups. Clusters, some groups, everyone within. Our next sample method is systematic sampling. We're going to pick a random starting point and select every Kate individual. Every 10th customer entering a store, start randomly at customer 4, 14, 24, 34, and so on. That's predictable and easy to run. The main risk is if some pattern in the population aligns with your interval, then there's going to be bias. Method 5, the convenience sample. Survey whoever's easiest to reach. Your friends, people nearby, the first 20 students in the hallway. Fast, but almost always biased. The people easiest to reach are almost never representative of the whole population. On the AP exam, convenience sampling is almost always the wrong answer, and is always followed by a question asking you to explain the bias it introduces on the FRQs. Now, here are all five methods in one place. Screenshot this. The keyword column on the right is what you are scanning for on exam. Equal chance, SRS. All groups represented, stratified. Each group entire group selected, cluster. Every K individual, systematic. Easiest to reach, convenience, and biased. Take a moment with this slide before moving on. Now, this is what I told you to stay for bias. Almost every AP Statistics free response question involves sampling will ask you to identify or explain a bias. Knowing these four types is worth real points, which matter on the AP exam. So we have voluntary response bias. People choose whether to participate. Those with strong opinions respond far more than those who feel neutral. The sample overrepresents extreme views. Classic example, an online poll where viewers choose to vote. Now, under coverage bias, your sampling method structurally excludes certain groups. Calling landlines to survey the public excludes most people under 40, because let's be real, who even has a landline? Now, your results will not reflect that group at all. Non response bias. People selected for the sample that do not respond, and non responders tend to differ systematically from responders. If you mail 1,000 surveys and 80 come back, the 920 who ignored it probably think differently. Now, lastly, here's response bias. The wording of a question or who is asking it pushes people towards a particular answer. Do you agree our cafeteria food is excellent? Is not a neutral question. Neither is a officer asking if you always follow traffic rules. For the AP exam, name the bias, explain what causes it, and describe the direction it pushes the results. That's the three-part answer that gets full credit. Okay, pause the video. Four scenarios. Write down which sampling method each one uses. These are phrased the way the AP exam phrases them. Practice picking out the keywords. The hint on each question points you in the right direction. Pause now. Okay. Number one, sample random sample. Numbers assigned to every individual. Random selection equal chance. That is the definition. Number two, stratified. Divided into grades first. Random sample from each grade. All groups represented. Number three, cluster. City blocks are the clusters. Randomly selected. Then everyone on those blocks surveyed. Entire groups, not sampling within. Number four, convenience. First 20 people available. No randomness. The AP exam answer for number four would include convenience sampling was used, which may produce biased results because the people outside City Hall at that time are not representative of all residents. That explanation with the direction of bias is what gets full credit. Okay, here's a quick summary. Number one, population. It's the entire group. Sample is who you study. The method determines trustworthiness, how good it is. Number two, five methods: SRS, stratified, cluster, systematic, convenience. Note and identifying keywords for each. Three, stratified versus cluster. Stratified samples within every group. Cluster selects some groups and surveys everyone in them. Four, there are four biases: voluntary response, under coverage, non response, response bias. Name it, explain the cause, and to describe the direction. Now, there's a worksheet, quiz, and homework in the description. Work through them. That is sampling methods, all five types and all four biases, and the distinctions that show up on every AP exam. Subscribe if this helped. New lesson every single day. Drop your score from the practice in the comments. Worksheet, quiz, and homework are all in the description below. Do the work. That's what actually prepares you. See you tomorrow.